In 2013, Aquatic Wet Line made its debut as an aquarium hobbyist podcast. It was hosted by Aqua Alex Cardinale, an aquarium hobbyist with a passion for tropical fish since the age of 12.
Aquatic Wet Line was very successful because Aqua Alex shared his love and passion for fish keeping like only he could. You could hear the love of fish and passion for caring and educating about the fish in his voice. It attracted new hobbyists and even experienced hobbyists to tune in.
Aquatic Wet Line went on hiatus for a couple of years. Now Aqua Alex has brought it back, this time right here on YouTube. Aqua Alex will host new episodes of Aquatic Wet Line Fish Keeping Podcast, but it will be in video format and you may get to see some of Aqua Alex's personal fish.
Aqua Alex will discuss everything aquarium related from fresh to salt. What aquarium topic is in the aquarium for discussion tonight? Let's find out. Fish keepers, if you enjoy the show, please share the YouTube video URL on your social media. Now here is Aqua Alex.
Hello, tropical fish keepers. Welcome to Life in the Amazon, hosted by me, South American fish keeper and monster fish lover, Aqua Alex Cardinale. Now, it goes without saying that a lot of my favorite fish species come from South America. Now, recently, I realized that a lot of the South American species that I really enjoy keeping come from Peru. And as a matter of fact, a number of years ago, I found out about the different species that come from Peru because I had a fish store that imported fish from Peru, and I was introduced to so many cool fish that way. I was introduced to the Rio Nene spotted angelfish that way. I was introduced to the Megalodorus irwini that way. I was introduced to the Oxydorus niger that way. The Cinta pike cichlid that way. So many cool fish species that I have never seen before. I got introduced to in that fish store where he imported Peruvian fish species. And ever since then, I've been hooked on the fish species from Peru. So I said, you know what? On Life in the Amazon, I'm going to do something a little bit unique. I want to do a series of episodes where I talk about each country from South America, and I talk about the fish species that live in that country, and then the star attraction of that show is going to be me, Aqua Alex, creating a biotope aquarium with species from that country. So I'm going to do a community aquarium and a monster aquarium from each country of South America. And today I figured we'll start with Peru, since Peru is one of my all-time favorite countries where the freshwater fish in South America are imported from. Mad Cypress is in the house. He says, how are you, Alex? I am doing great. Hopefully you're having a great day. I appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully you enjoy the show. All right, so today we're going to talk about fish species that live in Peru, and I'm also going to share some information on fish species that live in Peru. Okay, so before I get started, I'd like to remind all the live viewers out there, you could be a part of today's show. In the comments, you can post your favorite species from Peru, if you like. You could also create a Peruvian biotope of your own. What fish would you have in your Peruvian biotope? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to see what you would put in your Peruvian biotope aquariums. All right, so let's go ahead and get this show started. And we're going to start by going over some basic information about Peru. We're going to learn about the country Peru, and then we'll learn about some of the fish species that live in Peru. Now, Peru is a mega diverse country with habitats ranging from the arid plains of the Pacific coastal region in the west to the peaks of the Andes Mountains, extending from the north to the southeast of the country to the tropical Amazon basin rainforest in the east with the Amazon River. Peru has a population of 34 million people, and its capital and largest city is Lima. Lima, Peru is the largest city in Peru. At 1.28 million people, Peru is the 19th largest country in the world and the third largest in South America. Peru is located on the central western coast of South America, facing the Pacific Ocean. It lies wholly in the southern hemisphere, its northernmost extreme reaching to 1.8 minutes of latitude, or about 3.3 kilometers south of the equator. It borders Ecuador and Colombia to the north, Brazil to the east, Bolivia to the southeast, Chile to the south, and the Pacific Ocean to the west. The Andes Mountain runs parallel to the Pacific Ocean. They define the three regions traditionally used to describe the country geographically. The Andes Mountain runs parallel to the Pacific Ocean. They define the three regions traditionally used to describe the country geographically. Now we're going to focus on the third region. The third region is the Silva, a jungle, a wide expanse of flat terrain covered by the Amazon rainforest that extends east. And it's the Amazon rainforest we are particularly interested in Peru, because the Amazon rainforest is where all the tropical fish species are located. We don't care about the mountains or the ocean. Now, if you're a saltwater keeper, you may be interested to learn about the saltwater fish that comes from Peru. But today we're focusing specifically on the freshwater tropical fish that live in the lakes and rivers of Peru. Now, most Peruvian rivers originate in the peaks of the Andes, and they drain into one of three basins. Those that drain towards the Pacific Ocean are steep and short, flowing only intermittently. Tributaries of the Amazon River have a much larger flow and are longer and less steep once they exit the Sierra. Rivers that drain into Lake Titicaca are generally short and have a large flow. Now, don't laugh at me if I mispronounce the names of the longest rivers in Peru. I am not Spanish or I am not Peruvian, so I don't know the proper way to pronounce these names. So if I botch them, if I sound like an idiot, you guys can laugh at me. But Peru's longest rivers are the Ucayali, the Moran, the Putumayo, the Yavari, the Huluga, the Umbaba, the Montara, and I know this one, the Amazon River. The Peruvian Amazon is characterized by heavy rainfall and high temperatures, except for its southernmost part, which has cold winters and seasonal rainfall. So now we know a little bit about Peru, a Peruvian background. That is the most boring part of today's show, and we've just completed it. So that's the background information on Peru. Now let's learn about some of the fish species that live in Peru. I know I'm going to talk about so many fish species today, but you have to understand this is only an example of fish species that live in Peru. Trust me when I tell you there are thousands upon thousands of fish species that call Peru home. I'm only listing some of the more common fish that I know exist in Peru. There are a plethora of other species that I'm not going to mention on today's show simply because I don't have the time to name every single species that lives in Peru. That would be like a 3 or 4 hour show because there's thousands of them. But I'm going to go over some of the more cool species from Peru, and then we'll get into the Peruvian biotopes, the main event of our show. So for some species, I'm going to show you an image of that fish, and I'll give you some basic information of the fish species. So let's get started. The fish species that live in Peru. A lot of these fish can be found in other parts of South America as well, but they'll have different variations of the species. Like some of these species in Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela, they'll have different markings and they'll be from a different locale and they'll look a little bit different, but they're still the same species. All right, the first species that comes from Peru is a fish that does not belong in the aquarium hobby or anywhere in the aquarium hobby unless you have a huge pond, and that is the armapuma. Now, the armapuma is perhaps one of the biggest fish you'll find in Peru. The Peruvian people love fishing for armapuma because the armapuma is a food fish there. A lot of people enjoy eating armapuma, and they say the meat on armapuma is really good. I have to say that I do like armapuma, and I believe they belong in the wild and should never be imported into the aquarium hobby because, let's face it, no one's going to have the proper sized aquarium to house a fish that gets 5, 6, 7 feet. But in Peru, if you ever travel to Peru, you're guaranteed to see an arapaima because they're all over Peru and other parts of South America as well. All right. The next species we are going to talk about is a species of pleco. And this one is found all throughout Peru. It is known as the lyre-tailed pleco, the Adonis pleco. Look how gorgeous the Adonis pleco is. It's a pleco with a black body with white spots and a lot of armor. The Adonis pleco is a very large growing pleco. It can reach 3 feet in length and sometimes even larger. The Adonis pleco deserves a monster aquarium and is a perfect tank mate for large fish like Oscars and Pacu, etc. Ohio Fish Rescue actually has a monster Adonis pleco or lyre-tailed pleco. So if you want to see a big Adonis pleco, I recommend heading over to the Ohio Fish Rescue YouTube channel and you'll see a video of a huge Adonis pleco. But in Peru, Adonis plecos are found in abundance. All right, so the next species of fish that is really popular and found in Peru is actually a species of South American cichlids, and there are a lot of this species living there. And it is Apistogramma. Apistogramma are dwarf cichlids that are really popular in the aquarium hobby. Community aquarists really enjoy apistogrammas because they have a lot of coloration and they're a pretty fun fish to breed. It is cool to have a community aquarium with apistogrammas, cardinal tetras, and rummy nose tetras. And the apistogramma definitely has a lot of coloration. The next fish that is really popular, and you'll find a lot in Peru, is the Oscar cichlid. This is an example of what a wild-caught Peruvian Oscar would look like. It looks similar to the standard tiger Oscar, except it does not have as much orange as the standard tiger Oscar. And it's a very nice looking Oscar. Notice it has no hole in the head or anything, because in the wild they don't eat fish, they eat insects. Oscars eat insects in the wild. Also in Peru, you'll find this species of Oscar. This is a species of Oscar that predatory fins and other aquarium shops have been importing. This is known as the bumblebee Oscar, a very, very cool looking Oscar. And it's an Oscar that has been evading me all these years that I've been in the aquarium hobby. I definitely have to get my hands on a bumblebee Oscar and grow them out because they're definitely an amazing, amazing fish. You know, Peru is home to a lot of great catfish. This next catfish that I'm going to talk about is a species of catfish that I've had on my dream list for so many years. And I don't ever recall seeing one in person. I've seen Jorent's cats, but never this particular species. And you can find these guys in Peru. It is the tigrinus catfish. It's almost like a zebra catfish. It looks just like a zebra. I should call this catfish the zebra shovelnose. It is absolutely beautiful. Tigrinus catfish, very popular in the aquarium hobby. Monster fish keepers and large fish enthusiasts go crazy for this catfish because of its gorgeousness. However, the tigrinus catfish is a little bit sensitive, so it should only be kept by experienced hobbyists and people who have their water quality under control, because it is a finicky catfish. And if the parameters aren't where it should be, they could possibly perish. And it's a very expensive fish. Now, how I first learned about stingrays and freshwater stingrays is when I went to the fish store that did Peruvian imports, and I saw my eyes on Matoro stingrays for the very, very first time, and I was absolutely hooked on Matoro stingrays. Matoro stingrays are one of the more popular freshwater stingrays that you will find in Peru. Matoro stingray's natural home is in Peru, and you'll find a lot of different stingray species living in Peru, such as this tiger river stingray or river tiger stingray. Freshwater stingrays are very nice fish, but they grow large and they need proper water conditions, and they have specific needs. You can't just throw these in with aggressive cichlids because the aggressive cichlids will most likely harm them, and that's not good. These fish are showpiece fish, and they deserve the best care possible. They would do good with discus and angelfish, silver and black arowanas, etc. But unfortunately for me, I'll probably never be able to keep stingrays because they're highly illegal here in Florida, unfortunately. But stingrays are such a gorgeous fish. Now, when people think of ghost knives from South America, they think of the black ghost knife. But the black ghost knife, to my knowledge, is not found in Peru. But this species is. This is a brown ghost knife. It is very similar to the black ghost knife, except it gets a little bit bigger and it's in brown in coloration. But it's still a very unique knife fish, if you ask me. Very, very cool knife fish as well. I've never kept a brown ghost knife, but if I ever saw one and I was interested in it, I definitely would consider getting a brown ghost knife fish. All right, so now we're going to get into some of the cool catfish that live in Peruvian waters. Obviously, the red-tailed catfish calls Peru home, but you can find the red-tailed cats pretty much any country in South America because the red-tailed cat is lives throughout pretty much every river in South America, but it does call Peru its home. And the Peru red-tailed cats are pretty cool. They look a little bit different than some of the other red tails from other waters in South America. The tiger shovel-nose catfish calls Peru home. And in Peru, there are multiple variants of the tiger shovel-nose, and there are many different species of the tiger shovel-nose in Peru. In Peru, there are tiger shovel-nose with spots and stripes like this one pictured here. There's spots, and there's also tiger shovel-nose with just stripes. So in Peru, you're guaranteed to find a lot of tiger shovel-nose. You know, I would love to go on a fishing trip in Peru, and I'd love to fish and catch a tiger shovel-nose because, in my humble opinion, tiger shovel-nose are one of the best catfish to keep from South America, and they are found in abundance in Peru, in Peruvian waters. The next catfish that you'll find in Peru is known as the hog-nosed corridorus or the brocious corridorus catfish. Now, I know over the last few episodes of Life in the Amazon, I've talked a lot about the brocious cory cat because it is my particular favorite species of cory cat. The brocious cory cat will grow to be about 4 to 5 inches, making it one of the largest corridorus species known to man. And it's very, very cool. I first found out about the brocious corridorus cat when I went to that fish store that specialized in importing species from Peru. I said, hey, is that a giant overgrown corridorus? And he told me, no, that's actually a separate species of cory. It's actually not in the corridorus family. It belongs to brocious. And that's when I first learned about brocious cats. I saw them, and I was like, you know what? I'll use my last 50, 60, or $75, and I bought like 4 or 5 of them. I got a really good deal on them. I took them home, I kept them, I started studying them, and I gained a lot of information on them. And I had them for about a year and a half, and then they slowly passed away, most likely from old age, because when I had gotten them, they were pretty much already full grown at 4.5 inches. So when I keep brocious cory cats again, I'd like to buy them at such a younger age, like 1.5 inches, 2 inches, and raise them into adulthood so that I can experience what they're like growing up into adulthood. The next catfish that is found in abundance in Peru is one of my favorite shovel-nose catfish. It is really smaller than the tiger shovel-nose, and as a matter of fact, it is found so much in abundance that fishermen and fishers will use it as bait to catch piranha and other large predatory fish. It is the Lima shovel-nose catfish. Of course, there is a city in Peru. It's the largest city and the capital of Peru, known as Lima. and it should be named after the Lima shovelnose. I'm not sure if it is or not. The Lima shovelnose grows to be about 14 inches or sometimes even larger, making it suitable for 125-gallon aquariums. It eats just like the tiger shovelnose. It kind of looks just like a tiger shovelnose, but it stays a lot more smaller than the tiger shovelnose, making it a suitable addition to an Oscar aquarium or a more semi-aggressive monster community aquarium. There is an episode of aquatic wetline that I did here on YouTube talking about the Lima shovelnose. You'll find it under my aquatic wetline playlist. The next catfish I'm going to talk about is a catfish that I've never kept before, and a catfish that I've seen a lot of in books of the Amazon River. I have a couple of books that talks about species that live in the Amazon. I've seen that predatory fins gets them every now and then, and that is the firewood catfish. It looks like a juvenile tiger shovelnose. It has the markings of a juvenile tiger shovelnose, but it stays like that throughout its life. It's an extremely rare catfish in the aquarium hobby, and thus it requires a lot of money. But one day, when I have the right aquarium setup, the right aquarium size, I do look forward to owning a firewood catfish, but they do get really large. So you have to keep that in mind. The firewood cat would require a large aquarium, just like a tiger shovelnose and other large cats from South America. The next species of South American catfish that I'm going to talk about is another catfish that I've never kept, and I do want to keep it in the future. It is related to the gulper catfish, but unlike the gulper cat, it can have tank mates. And that is the Traca black driftwood cat. Kind of looks like a gulper cat, but in my opinion, much prettier and much more attractive than the gulper cat. And unlike the gulper cat, this catfish will spend a lot of its time hiding in driftwood. It can be found in Peru, but more so than not, it's mainly found in Brazil and Colombia, but there have been reports of them being in Peru. And because of those reports, I'm going to include them on today's show. They can grow to be about a foot long. They are just as aggressive as gulper cats, but unlike gulper cats, they can be kept with fish that are way too big to be eaten. Another catfish that comes from Peru is the gulper catfish, a fish that cannot be kept with any other fish because their stomach will look just like this. The gulper cat will eat anything it is put in its tank. It is a pig. It is a glutton. And is why I'll never have a gulper cat. But I do admit the gulper cat is a cool catfish that comes from Peru. The Yaxodorus niger ripsaw catfish, one of my all-time favorite South American catfish, calls Peru home. Now, I'll be the first to admit I have a niger catfish currently. He's about a good 9 inches, and when I got him, he was only 2.5 to 3 inches, so he put on some decent size in the year that I had him. Now, in Peruvian waters, you'll find these catfish everywhere, and they use that sharp armor on their bodies to defend themselves against piranhas and even small caiman. Really cool catfish. Another armored catfish from Peru is this beauty here. This is the Megalodorus irwini. Now, I've had several of these that I've raised. I haven't had them in quite some time, though. I do want to get another irwini catfish because they are absolutely gorgeous. What a beautiful fish that is. It is called the giant Raphael catfish because it looks just like a Raphael, except it grows to 3 feet, sometimes even much larger than that. These guys can be found in Peru. These are the ordinary Pimelodus pictus cats or the Angelicus Pictus cats, they're a great schooling catfish. They can grow to 5 inches in total length, making them a perfect schooling catfish for a 75-gallon aquarium, a 90-gallon aquarium, 125-gallon aquarium, etc. Very, very unique catfish, and they look different than the Colombian versions, the Brazil versions, the Peruvian versions, though, look just like the ones in this picture. Very, very cool cats. Another cool catfish is these guys. These are known as Hacer oriestes, and they come from Peruvian waters. Again, I went to that fish store that specialized in Peruvian imports, and I saw these guys for the very first time. And I was like, these are very interesting. So I took a picture and I went home and I started looking on Planet Catfish. And for all those of you who are not or have not been in the hobby as long as I have, planetcatfish.com is a catfish website where you can identify catfish species. And I posted on that form the pictures that I had from the fish store, and I found out the scientific name for these guys was Hacer oriestes. And I looked up their information, their care requirements. I wanted to see if I could take care of them, and I found out that I could, because these guys are basically adoratid, just like the Nigers, just like the Irwinais and the Raphaels, except they must be kept in schools, which adds to their uniqueness. The Hacer catfish is a schooling catfish, and it prefers the company of its own kind. So once I saved up some money, because these are quite a costly catfish, they cost a hell of a lot more than a Niger or Irwinai catfish does. I believe I paid $40 an individual, and I got 5 of them. And I had them for 2 years before I lost them in the winter storm. But man, they're a beautiful cat, and I look forward to getting them again in the future. Another monster cat that calls Peru home is the marble sailfin acara, and I believe I've done a care guide for the marble acara here on my YouTube channel as well. You can find that on my playlist, Aquatic Wetline. Now, my all-time favorite monster cat that does not grow 2, 3, 4 feet is this guy. This is a vulture catfish, and I have one of them left right now. The vulture cat, an all-time favorite South American cat of mine, and you'll find them in Peruvian waters. As a matter of fact, a former Peruvian that is now living here in South Florida told me that the fishermen used to feed the vulture cats scraps of leftover fish like pacu and piranha. That also feed the vulture cats the scraps of caiman, freshwater river dolphins, which I am really sad to say because I have a lot of respect for the pink river dolphins. But the vulture cat in its natural environment is a gluttonous pig. It will eat just about anything, including meat of other animals. And it is like that in the home aquarium as well. The vulture cat can be an aggressive eater in the aquarium hobby. However, the vulture cat, one of my personal favorite catfish to raise, and I have one that I am raising right now. I've had this vulture cat since July of last year, and he is putting on significant size, and they're one of the fish from Peru that I'm happy to have. Another catfish from the Pimelota family that calls Peru home is the Pimelotus blotchi, also known as the 4-line pictus. I've done a care guide on the 4-line pictus. Just check it out on my YouTube channel, Aquatic Wetline, and you'll see some of the awesome care information I gave you on the 4-line pictus. Very, very cool catfish. All right, so moving along now. I didn't realize that I had so many species to talk about. The spotted gar cherison calls Peru home. This is a very beautiful fish, and I definitely want to keep them. I've never had success keeping them. The one time that I did try keeping them, I had one by itself. And you know, Cherrisons freak out when they're kept singly. So next time I'll get more of them. Pink-tailed Chalceus call Peruvian waters home. You'll find a lot of pink-tailed Chalceus in Peru. You will find many different species of Mentinus silver dollars in Peru. I believe the tiger striped silver dollars can live in Peru. The regular Mentinus argentis can be found in Peru. There are a lot of different Mylius silver dollars that live in Peru. The Mylius Gumberki wide bar is beautiful. The Peruvian wide bar silver dollar is an absolute stunner. It looks just like a Manueli piranha. It's got that orange chest, the orange stomach, and a beautiful black bar, just like a Manueli piranha. Also, the red hooks from Peru are equally as beautiful. Peru is home to some gorgeous Mylosoma silver dollars as well. Mylosoma silver dollars are known as the hard-bellied silver dollars. They're still a rarity in the aquarium hobby. I am growing out 2 of them, and I'm going to keep them for life because they seem to be hard to import in the aquarium hobby. Peru is home to a lot of piranhas, but perhaps the most common piranha living in Peru is the Pygrocentrus nateri, or the red-bellied piranha. Also, Peru is home to a lot of Cerosomas piranhas, such as the black rom, the Spilo piranha, the Sanchezi, etc. There's a lot of piranhas that call Peruvian home. My all-time favorite piranha does not live in Peru. That one is from Venezuela, I believe. That is the Caribe piranha. But the Caribe piranha has been rumored to be just a different locale variant of the red-bellied piranha. But if I were to ever keep piranhas, I would want to keep a Caribe school because they're very beautiful. Still in the piranha family, we have pacu. There are plenty of pacu species in Peru. You've got your red-bellied pacu and your tambaqui that call Peru home. They add an important role to the Peruvian ecosystem. Killifish are found in Peru. As a matter of fact, you will often see killifish living near red wolffish, and the red wolffish will generally seek out and prey killifish for a nice meal. But if you are a killifish lover, they're found in abundance in Peru, and they're very beautiful. The splash tetra, which is pictured here, is found in Peru. I've never kept them. I've never seen them. But judging from this picture, they are an absolutely outstanding looking fish. Semiprocholotus, flagtail procholotus, and other procholotus can be found in Peru. They're a food fish, unfortunately. A lot of the local Peruvians will eat these guys, but they're a great fish to have in the aquarium hobby. Hatchet fish will call Peru home. There's so many different kinds of hatchet fish that live in Peru. Dwarf hatchets, pygmy hatchets, marble hatchets, even the large hatchets that you see at the New England Aquarium live in Peru. As I mentioned earlier, there's the red wolffish. The red wolffish or the rainbow wolffish can be found in Peru. There's also the purple wolffish that you can find in Peru. The common wolffish, Hippolytus macabaricus, or however you pronounce that, is found in Peru. You can find the common wolffish in Peru. One of my favorite wolffish can be found in Peru, and that is the gold wolffish. Look how beautiful the gold wolffish really is. And the gold wolffish is a lot more peacefuler than some of the other goldfish out there. Payara, the Armidas pariah, and the common pariah can be found in Peru. All different species of Leporhinus can be found in Peru. The bleeding heart tetra can be found in Peru. Red-tailed barracuda are also found in Peru. Electric eels are found in Peru. Zebra knives are found in Peru, and they are just as gorgeous as other knives from around the world. I think the zebra knife is very, very beautiful. And to go back to the electric eels are not actual eels. They are a knife fish. Just wanted to point that out. But the zebra knife is absolutely beautiful. Now we're going to conclude our fish from Peru with cichlids. As I know, I spent about a half an hour talking about fish that live in Peru. You'll find the threadfin acara in Peru, and the threadfin acara is a very beautiful fish. You'll find the German blue ram in Peru. You'll find the chocolate cichlid in Peru. The temporalis chocolate cichlid is a very beautiful chocolate, and you'll find it in Peru. Very, very nice looking. You'll also find rot keel or redneck severums in Peru, and you'll find a yellow belly festivum that is only known from Peru, and it is I can't pronounce the scientific name, but it's a festivum that you can only find in Peru, and it develops a very nice yellow stomach. Wild caught discus from Peru are absolutely stunning. These are called the red spotted green teefy discus or red spotted green teefy discus. Very, very nice discus, and you'll find them in Peru. My all-time favorite freshwater angelfish come from Peru, and they come from Rio Nane. The angelfish from Rio Nane develop some great spots. They get some nice blue hints to their body, some yellow coloration, and they're a very beautiful looking angelfish. They look just as beautiful as Altum angels and other angelfish from South America, but I would argue the Peruvian angel is perhaps the best natural looking variation of a wild caught angelfish. So, those are all of the fish species that you'll find in Peru that I'm going to talk about on today's show. And as I said, there are thousands upon thousands of different fish species that call Peru home. So, now that I've talked for a half an hour about some of the fish species that live in Peru, let's get to the main attraction of our show, and that is creating a Peruvian biotope. Now, I'm going to create a community biotope aquarium and then a monster biotope aquarium consisting of fish that live in Peru. Now, we're going to pretend that we are creating these biotopes. I am in no means actually creating these biotopes. These are just like, if you will, a dream aquarium. If I could create a fish room and create a Peruvian community or a Peruvian monster biotope, these would be the fish that I'd be putting in them. I'm actually not creating these at the moment. I could in the future, but at the moment I am not creating these biotopes, but you never know. Never say never in this world, right? So let's get right into it. We'll start with the community biotope. Now, the word community aquarium means all the fish in the aquarium will get along for the most part. You can't always guarantee that species of fish will get along, but if you put like tempered fish together, it generally will work. A community of fish is very, very nice. So here is how I would do my Peruvian community biotope. And I would do semi-aggressive cichlids and some larger growing cherasins. So for my Peruvian community biotope, I would do a 180-gallon aquarium, nice big 6-foot aquarium, and I'd have some live plants in there, although I know they'd probably get destroyed by some of my cherasins. So my stock for my community biotope would be 6 Rio Nene angelfish. And remember, those Rio Nene angelfish are absolutely gorgeous. I would do 3 temporalis chocolate cichlids. Those are those chocolate cichlids that are found in Peru. I would do 4 festivum cichlids, the yellow belly festivums that call Peru home. I would do 4 threadfin acaras, and I have 3 of them that I'm actually growing out right now in the tank behind me, and they're very gorgeous fish. I would do a rock keel sevrum, 4 red hook silver dollars, 3 pink-tailed chalceus, 4 Hacer cats, a lima shovelnose, a zebra knifefish, and 4 of the brocious cory cats. That would be my dream Peruvian community biotope. We could even bump that up to a 220 gallon if we had to. That would be my ultimate dream Peruvian community biotope aquarium. Very, very nice fish. Now, pretty much everything on that list that I just mentioned, minus the zebra knifefish, I have kept. And I'm just keeping threadfin acaras for the first time now, so I get to watch them grow up and mature and turn into those beautiful cichlids that we all know that they can be. So that is my Peruvian community biotope aquarium. All right now we are going to go ahead and take our quick commercial break. Our commercial break is being brought to us by Jeremy Stellhorn and Little Egypt Aquarium Club. Little Egypt Aquarium Club provides aquarium hobbyists with quality tropical fish food and aquarium supplies. When we come back, we're going to conclude this episode with the Peruvian monster biotope. I've had a great time so far tonight, and I can't wait to talk about a monster biotope aquarium that I would create with Peruvian fish species. If you're watching us live, make sure to post in the comments what Peruvian fish you'd create a biotope for. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Don't go anywhere, folks.
Are you a tropical fish keeper living in South Florida? You need to check out Aquatic and Exotic in Stuart, Florida. Aquatic and Exotic is home to quality freshwater and saltwater tropical fish. You will find African cichlids, South and Central American cichlids, goldfish and koi, and exotic fish. We also supply aquarium supplies like filters and heaters, aquariums, and lights. We also have quality fish food brands. Aquatic and Exotic is open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sunday 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Questions? Give us a call at 772-781-4046. Stop on by and check us out. 1525 A.C.E. Lockhart Street, Stuart, Florida 34994.
Aqua Alex here, and I'm proud to partner with Little Egypt Aquarium Club. Little Egypt Aquarium Club was founded by my friend Jeremy Stellhorn. Little Egypt Aquarium Club provides aquarium hobbyists with quality aquarium supplies. You will find sponge filters, pleco caves, and so much more. Little Egypt Aquarium Club also has quality fish foods. You'll find things like rapashi. Rapashi is a name brand fish food, perfect for placostomus, community fish, and even monster fish. You'll find medicated fish foods as well. Aqua Alex and Jeremy Stellhorn are teaming up to save you some money. If you use my discount code, which is Alex, you will get 10% off your order. So go to littleegyptaquariumclub.com right now, place an order, and use coupon code Alex, and you will save 10% on your order. Now back to the fish chat. Hey, fish keepers, it's your boy Aqua Alex Cardinale here, inviting you to be a part of the fun. I'm inviting you to the September 2022 Fish Keepers Q&A, which airs live Wednesday, September 28th, 2022, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, right here on my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale. I, Aqua Alex, look forward to answering all of your tropical fish keeping questions, whether they are freshwater or saltwater. So, do you have fish keeping questions you want me to answer? Email all fish keeping questions, whether they're freshwater or saltwater, to alexgoyankiescardinelli19 at gmail.com. I will answer your questions on the show. Do you want to show off your gorgeous fish? Do you want to show off your gorgeous aquarium? Did you get a new fish that you want to show off? Well, email videos and photos of your fish and your aquariums that you want to show off, and I will show it off in the Fish Keepers show off. So email videos and photos of your fish to alexgoyankiescardinelli19 at gmail.com. I have some fun fish keeping topics planned for this month's edition of Fish Keepers Q&A. This month, I'm going to talk about the top 10 Earth Eater cichlids. Earth Eater cichlids are the gorgeous geophagus that come from South America. So this month, I'm going to talk about some of the most gorgeous geophagus out there, and I'm going to talk about the top 10 Earth Eater cichlids. And I'll answer the question, would I ever consider keeping African cichlids? Those are the two topics that I will discuss on Wednesday, September 28th, on this month's edition of Fish Keepers Q&A. So mark your calendars. This month's Fish Keepers Q&A is rapidly approaching. It airs live Wednesday, September 28th, 2022, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, right here on my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale. Get those fish keeping questions in and get those fish videos in right now. Alex Go Yankees Cardinale 19 at gmail.com. And I will see you on September 28th. But for now, back to the fish chat. Welcome back to this special episode of Life in the Amazon. And today I am talking about fish species that come from Peru and creating Peruvian biotopes. Now, before our commercial break, we learned about some fish species that call Peru home, and I gave out my Peruvian community biotope aquarium. In a few seconds here, I'm going to conclude the show with my Peruvian monster biotope. But I'd like to remind everyone that's tuned into the show, in the comments below, you can leave what your Peruvian biotope aquarium would be. Brian Byers has an awesome Peruvian community tank he would set up, and I'm going to go over that with you guys right now. Brian Byers says he would have a tank that featured Rio Nene angels, and like I said, the Rio Nene angels are my ultimate favorite wild-caught angelfish. Tifi green discus, which are absolutely the best-looking wild discus in my opinion. Festivum cichlids and Brocious catfish. The Brocious catfish are very, very nice. So thank you, Brian, for sharing that. All the other viewers, feel free to share in the comments what your Peruvian biotope would be. Even if you're replying in the when this episode is over, I would still love to see what your Peruvian Biotope aquarium would be. All right, so let's get to our main event for this episode, and that is the Peruvian Monster or Predatory Biotope Aquarium. Now, obviously, since I'm going to have some large fish in this tank, the tank would have to be a 1,000-gallon aquarium or larger. And in that aquarium, I would have some silver arowanas at the top of the aquarium. I forgot to mention that silver arowanas are also found in Peru, but they're found all throughout South America. But yes, indeed, silver arowanas can be found in Peru. So I'd have about 4 silver arowanas on top. My cichlid of choice for this aquarium would be some chocolate cichlids, the temporalis, because as they mature and they get pretty large, 8 to 10 inches, they're very beautiful and they're not really aggressive at all. So they add to the tank. And at the bottom of the tank, I'd have some Matoro stingrays. I love Matoro rays. They are very, very beautiful. I'd have some Oscars. You know, I'm a big Oscar guy at heart. I've always liked Oscars, and I think they're a fish that is kind of underappreciated in the aquarium hobby. I'd have some Mylosoma hard-bellied silver dollars. I'd have some of the wide bar, black bar silver dollars. As I mentioned earlier, the wide bar silver dollars from Peru are gorgeous. They get those orange coloration and the red spotting on their stomach, which is very nice. And for catfish, I would have an Oxydorus niger, ripsaw catfish, Megalodorus irwini, and a tiger shovelnose. And to take care of algae in the tank, I would have a Semiprochellotus flagtail school of about 4 or 5. And believe it or not, in a large aquarium, they will do peacefully together. I'd have some Leperinus, a Tigrinus catfish, and a firewood catfish. That would be my Peruvian Monster Biotope Aquarium. All gorgeous fish, all awesome colorations. Now, I'm sure you can throw in some pink-tailed Celsius at the top, and you can also throw in a true red terror, a Mayan cichlid, but this is only for dream's sake anyway. I'm sure I forgot some fish that I would really enjoy keeping. But that is my Peruvian Monster Biotope. Man, I had a lot of fun tonight. There was a lot of information to give out. So, like, part of this show may have seemed boring to you guys, and I apologize about that. I'll work on that for our next episode so that's not so boring. But I didn't expect it to take a half hour to talk about all the different fish species that call Peru home, but that just goes to show you how many species there are that live in Peru and South America in general. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Life in the Amazon. I know I had a lot of fun hosting it. Next week, on our next episode of Life in the Amazon, I'm going to talk about Brazilian biotopes. And I'll talk about the fish species that come from Brazil, like the Hopalus curupira or the black wolffish, which, by the way, is my favorite fish that I have in my 6-foot aquarium. I think he's found in Brazil. And we'll talk about other fish species that live in Brazil. Pretty much a similar episode to this, but instead of Peru, we'll be talking about Brazilian fish. And I'll be creating Brazilian biotopes. So get ready for that episode. Also, I'd like to remind you that Aqua Alex will be on this Saturday's edition of Saturday Live with legendary Alex Cardinale to discuss some new fish species that I want to get on my next trip to Aquatic and Exotic. And I'll also be hosting the Palm Beach Zoo Animal Spotlight once again to talk about the fake red terror known as the Mayan cichlid. So this Saturday, September 10th, 2022, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, on Saturday Live with legendary Alex Cardinale, Don't miss Aqua Alex as he talks about fish species he wants to get and the fake red terror known as the Mayan cichlid. Well, with that being said, enjoy the aquarium hobby. Go get some fish from Peru and add them to your gorgeous aquarium. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Share this video with your friends so that they can check it out as well. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you're new to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale, for all future episodes of Life in the Amazon and all my other videos as well. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the aquarium hobby and happy fish keeping.